everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another Color Wednesday video. Today I'm going to be starting out with the background of the card instead of the coloring, and I'm using the Artful Borders stamp set and Repeated Hearts stencil from Simon Says Stamp. So I'm first going to stamp the border stamp from Artful Borders. It's the striped border. It has, I think it's three stripes, and I used some Memento Luxe Pear Tart ink followed by Nautical Blue by Memento Luxe as well. Then I used Tide Pool by Hero Arts and then Lilac Posies by Memento Luxe. And I just thought this color combination looked really nice, so I wanted to use those. I'm going to move on to that area right above the stripes now, and I've taped down my piece to my craft sheets, and then I'm using the Repeated Heart stencil to add some texture paste. So this texture paste that I'm using today is actually a little bit dry. It's a little bit harder to spread than I would like, but it's the only bottle or jar that I had on hand, so I just went ahead and used it. So I'm going to use a palette knife and just smooth on the texture paste on top of these hearts. I masked off that border area just in case I accidentally got some texture paste down there, and then smeared on the texture paste. And I'm mainly focusing on the left side of the hearts, or the cardstock here. I'm going to let it kind of fade off to the side, so I'm mostly just getting that texture paste on the left side. So I'll just scrape that off until it's nice and smooth, and then I'll go ahead and take the masking off the stencil and peel up that stencil, and then you'll be able to see the fun heart texture underneath. It's a little bit bright right now with my overhead lights, but I'm going to tip it in the light so you can see it. And now I'm going to set this aside to dry completely while I work on the coloring for this card. The stamp set I'm using today is from Some Odd Girl, and this is the Clever Kitties stamp set. I picked this stamp set in particular because I have this amazing neighbor who takes care of Manny for me when I'm out of town, and I wanted to give her a thank you card that had an image of a cat that looked like Manny. She mentioned last week in a text message that she came over to feed him in the morning and he was standing there sitting by his food bowl just waiting to be fed, and I thought that was so cute, and I like this little image of this cat. Makes me think of Manny sitting there next to his food bowl. And now that I think about it, if I would have thought of this earlier, I could have drawn a really simple food bowl and colored that and put that next to the cat, but I totally forgot about that. Maybe I'll do that next time. But I am going to color this image with Copic markers. I started out with R20 and then used a light purple to do a little bit of shading. And as far as the rest of the coloring on him, I started out with a really light gray and just kind of mapped out the area that was going to be black. And then I came in with the darkest color C7 and kind of brought in that black into those areas. And I didn't bring it in all the way to the edge of that light gray because I wanted to have a little bit of space for shading, but I basically just brought in the darkest color and then brought in the next darkest and kind of just worked my way to the lightest shade until I had it the way I wanted it. And this worked out pretty well. And after I had it going, I realized that I put black underneath the cat's chin, like at his neck, and Manny really has all white transitioning from his nose and mouth all the way down onto his chest, but I wasn't thinking ahead. I just kind of colored it in and wasn't careful, but it turned out okay. It kind of looks like it could be like a shadow underneath his chin or something. But anyway, I worked those different grays until I got it to the point where I liked it. And I also ended up bringing in C0, which is a really, really light gray just to shade in some spots. And then I also brought in the colorless blender, and that just lightened up those areas on his tummy and also on his face. So after I colored the cat, I cut him out very carefully with some scissors, and then I took a Memento Tuxedo Black marker, and like I've shown you guys in the past, I just painted the edges of the cutout image, and this just makes it look like it's cut out completely perfect. It darkens up that white edge of the cut and it just makes everything look perfect. I also turned it over in some spots because it was a little bit more convenient, and then I ended up having to fix a spot where the marker kind of went over the edge and it colored his toes on his one foot. So I just took a white Jelly Roll pen and fixed that, and you can't even tell that I had a problem there. The sentiment for the card is this thanks die cut from Mama Elephant. So I ran that through my die cutting machine with some Neenah Solar White cardstock. And by the way, this background is also Neenah Solar White. And I realized that when I put that die cut over the stripes that it didn't have enough contrast. So I decided to bring in some ink blending. I'm using Tumbled Glass Distress ink from Tim Holtz. And I'm just blending that up from the bottom a little bit. It gives it just enough color so that the greeting stands out. I took some Tombow Mono Multi-Glue and added dots of adhesive on the back of the die cut, and then pressed that down onto the background here. And I like using liquid glue for this because it allows me to kind of move the die cut around and make sure it's in the right spot. I put some foam adhesive on the back of the cat and then adhered him onto the left side of the background piece. And I'm going to put the card together, and I started putting it together by creating the card base. This is Neenah 110-pound Solar White cardstock, and I've scored it at 5.5 to create a top folding card. And then I put foam adhesive on the back of the background piece and press that down onto the front of the card. And that pretty much finishes the card. I'm going to turn off this light so you can see that embossing paste or that texture paste up at the top. That's my card for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will be back on Friday for another card video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching until the very end of the video. On screen right now, I have 3 more cards for you that all feature cats and coloring them. I've got some colored pencils and some Copic markers, so I hope you'll check those out. That video that I mentioned coming on Friday also has more cats in it. I'm just overrun with cat stamps, and I love them, and I just can't resist a good cat stamp. So I hope you guys have something like that in your stash. Maybe you collect flowers or butterflies or just something you absolutely love to use on your cards. So anyway, you can visit my blog at KimWarnerDesign.com, and you can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. Once again, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.